Hey there, welcome to my channel. So, the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. It finally happened. It officially showed off the Switch 2 and various games coming out for it. And it was, I'll be honest, it was a lot. In the moment, as I was watching it, I genuinely didn't know how to feel, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm a pretty big Nintendo fan. I didn't feel the same level of hype that I typically do with these kinds of big directs. I'm gonna be super honest and say the direct a few days prior with Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven, that really got me going. That was a good direct. Now, I wasn't disappointed. When I watched the direct, I wasn't disappointed. Maybe it's just that the announcements were so unpredictable that I was just straight flabbergasted. There is something I am disappointed in, though. Something a lot of us are disappointed in. That being the price of the games. $80 for digital and $90 for physical, and then the price of the console itself being $450, just flat rate without the Mario Kart bundled in. I'm not gonna lie, that really stresses me out. But I'm gonna talk about that and all the issues associated with the Switch 2's release in the next video. Now, some time has passed since the direct itself, the stuff revealed in the direct, specifically that, not the other thing. And I've been able to rest because I got up at 5 a.m. for that. Rewatch everything and just kind of let everything digest and simmer and process in my brain so I have a more solid opinion on them. Again, we're gonna talk about the price stuff in a different video. That's coming up. I have some thoughts, but we're just going into the direct itself right now, so let's discuss. So the Switch 2 release date. We finally got a release date for the Switch 2, that being June 5th, and that was a lot sooner than I had initially expected. Though, as I said, I'm also really apprehensive about how pre-ordering and obtaining the console is gonna go. Listen, I was so worried and concerned about when this thing was coming out and how to calibrate that and do pre-orders accordingly and beat the scalpers that I mistakenly thought the date of the Mario Kart Direct that they announced was the launch of the Switch 2 itself, since they said it would be a launch title like in that same breath, and I just kind of, jumped to conclusions.
Launches on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. More details about this title will be shared in an upcoming Mario
April
Kart
17th?
So be on the lookout for more information in
April 17th. Oh, it's over. Oh no, it's gonna be like impossible to get that now. Oh my god. And that freaked me out a lot because I was like, oh, there ain't no way I'm getting one if it's coming out in a week. But no, that was just me being silly. All that aside, June 5th is only 2 months away, and that is not far off at all. Which is nice, but still a bit stressful. We also got to see the capabilities of the Switch 2. The thing's got a bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons naturally, a lot of storage, that's really nice. You can charge the console when it's not docked, the dock itself has a fan, there's overall improvements to visuals and game performance as well, which, of course, it's a next-gen console, that's to be expected. I honestly have never been big on specs and how a game looks. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't really nitpick visuals as much as a lot of people do. Like, when Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, when the remake was announced to not be 60 frames per second, I didn't really care. Like stuff like that. I don't, nitpick little tiny details like that. If the game's fun, the game's fun. That's it. So yeah, everything looks and sounds good there with that said, at least in my opinion. The carts look like Switch carts, but in red. That kind of feels like a little throwback to when Game Boy carts were gray, and then they upgraded to Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Color carts were the same shape, but they were see-through, and didn't have the little indent thing. So that was fun. There was also the reveal that normal micro SD cards won't work with the Switch 2, and I mean, that's fine. I have a pretty hefty micro SD card in my OLED Switch right now, because I got a lot of games on it, but I don't intend to sell my old Switch or transfer that or anything. I don't even know if you can transfer games through the SD card like that. I've never tried. But I think I'm gonna keep using my OLED Switch, so I'm not really bothered by that. So I don't know if this whole SD card thing is a big deal or not, but I could see the frustration in certain scenarios. Okay, so the Switch 2 game chat. At long last, we now know what the C button does. And yeah, it's neat. I initially thought it was Discord implementation, which would have been cool, but I didn't really see that happening. At the same time, I use Discord connectivity on the PS5 when I'm like playing Marvel Rivals, so I was kind of excited for that possibility. I could see myself using Discord on the Switch too, but turns out it was actually Nintendo's own game sharing feature, which is still really cool, but man, that stream quality. I know I literally just said that I've never been huge on visuals. I know I just said that, but I could not ignore this. Like, even live, I was trying so hard not to rag on that frame rate. It took me back to the Wii U video chat almost. Now, I can see plenty of uses for this regardless. Like, my nephew, he's a kid. He doesn't have Discord or social media. So if I wanted to, like, see what he's playing, or he wants to see what I'm playing or whatever, that'd be fun. I also have friends who aren't big gamers and don't have Discord. It might be fun to utilize it in some way with them. Now, that game sharing option they showed off, that's a big deal. Being able to play a game with someone who isn't able to buy the game themselves, it's awesome for so many reasons. Part of me, though, I'm just gonna stop myself there, though, because part of me feels like that is the reason why they upped the price of these games to $80, $90. Like, I have a feeling that you are going to need to buy that $80, $90 version of the game to be able to share it at all. If that's wrong and you read somewhere that that's incorrect, please let me know. But if they're ever asked in an interview why prices are so high, that might be a reason they may give. I don't know. They also showed off this camera. It looks like it's going to be compatible with some games, and Nintendo loves their silly little gameplay innovation, so yeah, that makes sense. But I'm going to be honest, it really reminds me of the iToy. Anyone remember the iToy on the PlayStation 2? Or even the camera on the PS4 that you could stream with? I mean, things like this, they just remind me of like how Nintendo is always a little behind, I guess. Now we also saw the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller a bit better. The Pro Controller looked really neat. I personally always go for the Pro Controller since that's just my preferred way of playing, all the way back to the Wii era. The new Joy-Cons also look really cool though, and I really appreciate them being a little bigger, especially when it's like in that mode where you only use one Joy-Con as a controller. It's always just felt really small to me, so I think like specifically with those types of games, it'll definitely be nice. The way the Joy-Cons connect looks very promising. I cannot tell you how disheartening it is for me when my current Joy-Cons begin losing their grip in handheld mode. I personally really love gaming from bed. It's so cozy and nice. And it sucks so much when it feels like the Joy-Cons are just barely holding on, just fighting for their life. Like, these Joy-Cons aren't even that old, but like when I hold them like this, all it takes is for me to shake it a bit, just a little bit, and the thing will just come flying off. Now, Nintendo also made a really big deal about this mouse feature. This is also something I'm just not crazy about. I mean, it's cool, but I am just indifferent. I have just never been drawn to gimmicks. It has been 17 years since I have felt the urge to play Wii Sports. I have never had the 3D on my 3DS, still never do, it kills the battery. And yeah, some of the unique Nintendo controls are super fun and work well, and I'll absolutely still mess around with the mouse feature, but, you know, right now I'm just whatever about it. That Rocket League type game with the wheelchairs looked very, very Nintendo, and I have a feeling it'll be their next ARMS type game, you know, like a launch game that utilizes Nintendo's new innovative ways to play. A launch game that fully utilizes Nintendo's new ways to play. That was my voice actor voice there. Anyways, it's cool. It's also really cool. It threw me off a little as I saw it, but the game itself makes a lot of sense from Nintendo. Okay, so Mario Kart World looks amazing! One thing I was kind of thinking to myself before the full reveal was, what the heck can they do to make a new Mario Kart stand out? 8 had that whole zero gravity thing, 7 had the gliders. I was over here thinking they would just keep up that tradition and add a new way to utilize the tracks. I was wrong though, kinda. And I am so glad that I was. It looks like they're going for an open world Mario Kart experience and really embracing that very same exploration element that Breath of the Wild and recent Pokemon games have. No, not you. Not this one. But I just think that is so cool. One thing I absolutely love is when RPG or adventure story elements are incorporated into a game that wouldn't typically have that, making it a unique single-player experience. Like the RPG story mode in the Mario Golf games, I love that. I love the Game Boy Advance one, I forgot its name, but the story mode RPG deal in that one, oh, it was so good. So Mario Kart World looks like it's gonna be doing that, but going all out. Like, it's a full experience. Like, that's a full game. You know, there's a lot going on there. And this makes so much sense, too, especially considering how successful Mario Kart 8 was for a full decade. It was a re-release on the Switch. And it's still such a huge moneymaker. Also, it looks like they're letting literally anyone into Mario Kart these days. I had no idea bro could even drive. If he was capable of this, then why was he blocking the damn road for so long? Overall, I'm genuinely so excited for this. I mean, it's Mario Kart, but it feels like a big single-player experience is in store as well. Okay, so we also got GameCube games on NSO. Like, this is huge. And the titles that are on there are so hard to get nowadays. Like, I have been trying to rebuild my GameCube collection from when I was a kid, which I traded all in for a Wii U, some time back when the Wii U came out. That's another story. And those games go for so much gosh dang money now, like, it's insane. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, oh my gosh, it's unobtainable for most people. Super Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, Pokemon XD, all these games go for so much money now. They are so hard to get because they are so expensive. Collecting for GameCube is so stressful. I'm just realizing buying new games is kind of starting to feel like this now. Yay! It's really cool. And I'm so glad this is happening. I'm just wondering how much more it will cost. Because the Switch 2 expansion pack, it costs a little more money than base level Nintendo Switch Online. And with that extra fee, you get the Game Boy Advance and N64 games, which, okay, cool, fair deal. But naturally, there's probably going to be a little step up for the GameCube games now too. So I'm just wondering how much the GameCube games are gonna cost, how much extra that is gonna be. I grew up with the GameCube, and just seeing all these games and the ability to play them again, the ability to play them on the go on the Switch, that's so cool, and I'm so happy for that. Speaking of GameCube, we also got a new Kirby Air Ride, which is a game that came out on the Nintendo GameCube way back in, gosh, you think 2003? 2003! That game is over 20 years old. We got Masahiro Sakurai working on it. That is awesome. Probably going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to that. I didn't play a lot of the original Kirby Air Ride. I remember renting it a few times, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I know it's a cult classic. I know a lot of people love it. And this was just one of those out of the left field announcements that nobody expected, but was great and hype. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute, is this real? Is it April Fool's still? Like, God, next they're gonna announce a new F-Zero or something. Like, that's the kind of timeline I feel like I'm living in right now, you know? And then, of course, we got the third-party showcase. We got a few seconds of Silk Song, which I'm not really huge into the lore, but I know is a huge, highly anticipated game. And those few seconds were very nice, and it's good to see that confirmation that it's going to be on Switch 2 and it's still cooking. So you know, that's great for everyone who's like super into that game. There's also the Dusk Bloods, a FromSoft title that appears to be exclusive to the Switch 2, which is crazy and also really cool, aside from the fact that it's behind possibly a $90 paywall. Again, we'll go over that in another video. It's just hard to not think about that. I'm not a huge FromSoft person. I played Dark Souls 2 a long time ago. I've been wanting to get into Elden Ring. It's just, it takes a certain state of mind to get into these games, and a lot of the time I'm just not in the mood for that kind of gaming experience. But when the time comes that I am ready for that kind of gaming experience, I am looking forward to checking out the Dusk Bloods. And also Elden Ring, that was also confirmed for Switch 2. Now, I'm not sure how it will run. Same goes for games like Hogwarts Legacy, Final Fantasy VII, the remakes. I don't know how those will run on Switch 2. I'm sure good enough. But I know Hogwarts Legacy is on the OG Switch, and it's just something I have avoided completely because I heard it does not run well at all, and it's such a huge game because I've been playing it on the PS5 that I don't know if it's like worth playing on the Switch. But as far as the Switch 2, like that seems pretty promising, and I'm really excited to see how they work out on the Switch 2. A lot of third-party support, which is something we did not see in the Wii U era, so I'm happy and I'm here for it. There were also those upgraded versions of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and also the Zelda Notes thing for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I am genuinely like super excited for the Kirby one because Kirby and the Forgotten Land is such a fun game. I still need to finish it, but the Zelda Notes thing looks really cool. I might utilize that. I am not entirely sure. Like the voice guide thing, that's cool. And for people that feel that those games are a bit too much and too daunting, I'm sure that'll be super helpful and cool. I may utilize it for Tears of the Kingdom at some point, who knows. We also got that Mario Party expansion thing that utilizes the camera and mouse for like mini games. I don't know how popular that's gonna be. I don't know if that's really something people are gonna jump on and want to like get. I just don't see that being something people are gonna be really motivated to buy. Maybe that's just my opinion. It's just like, even playing Mario Party Jamboree now, I don't usually turn on motion controls. I just prefer like the traditional mini games, but we'll see. I mean, now the last reveal really threw me off. So my brain was in a completely different place. I initially thought that reveal when they were showing the landscape and the like rocks and stuff, I thought that was going to be that Nintendo playtest game that people kept leaking. If you guys remember or don't know what I'm talking about, that was essentially this thing Nintendo did for people to sign up for a playtest where they can test this new Nintendo first party game, and I thought it was going to show that. But then I saw like the character designs a little more, and it looked a bit like a Banjo-Kazooie game, and I was like, what? Are they partnering with Rare? Like, what's going on? And then I saw Donkey Kong. Like, a lot of people thought Mario Odyssey 2, and I didn't see that at all. Not in the slightest, but I get it. Yeah, it definitely makes sense, and I think it's so cool that the game appears to have a bit of inspiration from Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64. Like, they're bringing back that energy, which I think is awesome. Like, I'm not a huge Donkey Kong fan, but I do love platformers, especially 3D platformers, so I'm genuinely very excited for this one. I didn't know what to think initially, because I was like, what, a new Donkey Kong game? New Donkey Kong design? Well, this is crazy. I didn't see any of this coming. It kind of blindsided me. But after thinking about it, and I can also see a bigger picture that Nintendo has for Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong series moving forward, because they redesigned Donkey Kong. They teased the redesign in the teaser for Mario Kart World when they first revealed the Switch 2. They have this big, massive 3D platformer game that they're making with Donkey Kong. Like, I have a feeling they're trying to do something a lot bigger with Donkey Kong that they haven't done previously, and they're gonna completely like revamp this character and give him a different role in Nintendo as a video game series and video game character. I think they're gonna do more with him for sure. And since I am not really a DK fan, I also kind of was pondering whether or not we may get a 3D Mario in the near future or in the coming years because of this game. Is this game the 3D Mario? It certainly feels like a 3D Mario, you know? So like, are we going to get a new 3D Mario game like in the near future, or are we going to be waiting a little longer because this is the game in development, you know? I don't know if it's just me, but that's something I've been thinking about. And like, I'd love to see a new 3D Mario. I think that would be so cool. And that's something I was personally hoping for before the direct happened and we saw everything. But yeah, those are my thoughts. If you want to hear me talk about the pricing situation itself, I got a video coming out where I'm just going to talk about that. Being a fan of these things and consuming and engaging with these products and items in recent years, especially as like a Nintendo and Pokemon fan, what have you, has been so... It's hard to explain, but I'll get into it a little more with my next video. My main channel will be linked in the description. This is my second channel where I talk about just things that I like talking about like gaming and Nintendo, so look out for more of that. But if you're from my main channel, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for checking out my second channel. And, you know, that's about it.